This is Planet Music.
From the makers of Planet Marzipan.
In a streaming world, we're proud to be a podcast that celebrates the art of the album. Hello and welcome to Planet Music. I'm Mezza. I'm here with my good friends.
Craig?
And?
Mikey?
And?
Graham.
Yes, the gang are all back.
Again, because the boys are here. The boys who won't entertain you.
Before we get started, we want to thank folks for the lovely comments we've had about the episode that we've put out so far. As we're recording this, we've only released our Tears for Feared episode, but we've got some great comments on it and some nice shares as well. So thank you for that. If you've not heard that, go back, give it a listen. But as you can tell from the title of the episode, we are here with something to discuss something slightly off
Left field.
Left field, yeah. It's either a great long lost classic or a complete unknown. But there are one or two people in the Facebook group who suggested it for the podcast. And I'd already suggested it to the guys because I've nailed my colours to the mast. I've loved this album for a long time. But prior to this week, I don't think any of the other three guys had heard it, had you?
No.
No. A lot of viewers on this planet, and it was completely new to me.
Yeah, never heard of it.
Go on, Grae.
Which, when you look at the people involved with it, is bloody amazing. To be honest with you, because it's the kind of thing that you would, if you like that kind of music, you like these people, then it's something you should. But I suppose 25 years ago, 35 years ago, 35 years ago, bloody hell.
But it was never part of it. It never raised its head above the parapet. I can't even remember seeing it mentioned at all or anything in any of the music magazines at the time. Because back in like 1990, me and Mikey, would be crawling through Q magazine and Kerrang and Raw and all the different types of music magazines. We didn't necessarily buy them, but we were guilty of standing in W.H. Smith's with our heads buried.
Oh yeah, very much so.
I mean, the album bombed in America, so that was its best chance, wasn't it?
Yeah, but the band are well known in America. I mean, the singles got into the top 40 in the Billboard rock charts.
Yeah,
but the album didn't touch the top 100. But it's become an American classic. People in America will music fans in America will know who they are. But come here, and I think it's very much you either know it or you don't. It's not something you're going to come across by chance.
Do you think it's also a little bit similar to what we're talking about in the Pet Shop Boys' Behavior album? It was a big time of big change in the American music scene.
Yeah, because it was at that reactionary period, wasn't it? So that sort of the grunge thing coming out in Seattle and all that kind of stuff, and and this is definitely not that. So I don't know.
Yeah, because it's a bit AOR. It's a bit prog. It's a bit
no, it's not AOR. It's not AOR.
It's got lots of different kind of aspects to it.
But it's not AOR.
Which you can't necessarily nail down into one genre.
It's I want to. We both want to clear that up. We don't think it's AOR at all. Yeah. Shall we go to Wikipedia, and then maybe Grae? Well, in fact, we'll all talk about what we know about how the album came about, although it does cover some of that in here. So, Wikipedia has an entry for the band, not particularly the album, but Toy Matinee was a short-lived American rock band which released one eponymous album. Their sound features an array of influences, including progressive rock, album-orientated rock. Did you write
What? No, no, carry on.
Wikipedia, it's not the Bible. And pop, reminiscent of both the Beatles and the Beach Boys. Around the end of 1988, Patrick Leonard approached bassist Guy Pratt about forming a band and helping him audition and recruit members. As the two become friends through working on Madonna's Like a Prayer song and the I'm Breathless album and other material previously. Pratt agreed, and from then through to the beginning of 1989, they recruited singer, lyricist, multi-instrumentalist Kevin Gilbert, drummer Brian MacLeod, and guitarist Tim Pierce to complete the ensemble. Platt recalls that for various legal reasons, he never signed up as a full member of the band, despite being in at the very start of the project and co-writing half the songs on the band's only album, which featured guest appearances from other musicians, including Julian Lennon. The album was engineered and produced by Bill Bottrell and released by Reprise Records in 1990. I won't go any further. It does talk quite a lot about the background of the song, so I think we might touch upon some of this when we talk about it. Because we're about the album, we're going to dive straight into the music on the album and do one of our roundtable reviews, and then we will see what comes out the other side of that. Grae, do you want to just talk about?
I think it's important to sort of explain how it all came to be, because obviously Pat Leonard at the time was Mr. Madonna. He'd done stuff on True Blue, Like a Prayer, I'm Breathless, what have you, but this band, he'd made $500 million for Warner.
Yeah.
And they phoned him up and said, "What do you want? Do you want an office? Do you want a car? Do you want something?" He went, "No, I want to make my own album." They went, "Is as much money as you want? Go make an album." And it's interesting because Kevin Gilbert was involved in, I think he was involved in Breathless. He might have been involved in Like a Prayer as well. Tim Pierce was involved in Madonna stuff. Guy Pratt played bass on the Madonna stuff. Brian MacLeod didn't, but Bill Bottrell, the producer, he was involved with the Madonna stuff as well. So there was a nucleus of session musicians. They're all, I mean, if you look at their own discographies amongst themselves, every type of music from 74, 75 onwards, right up until today, these people are involved in something. They are amazing musicians. And basically Pat Leonard said, he approached Guy Pratt and said, "Do you want to do this?" Then he got Kevin Gilbert, got Brian and Tim, and there was Bill Bottrell had his own studio. We'll sort of touch on that later on with the stuff that happens after them as well. And he agreed to produce it. Now, Bill Bottrell, I wasn't really aware of beforehand, but I mean, the guy's done some amazing stuff. He like Tools Lateralis and all that kind of stuff. But at that time, he was doing engineering, and he produced and engineered this album. And if you watch the videos, even I think this Wikipedia entry later on says that Pat Leonard says this is one of his best experiences in his musical life. Guy Pratt says it was the best band he was ever in. Tim Pierce says it was the best band he was ever in. And I listened to an interview with Guy Pratt, and he was saying, he says, as a session musician, you're in, you're out. You go in, you record something, you disappear, and on the way back to your flat or your apartment or the hotel or whatever, you think, "Oh shit, I could have done this, I could have improved that." Whereas this time they had the time. I think that they were recording for 3 months, 4 months.
Yeah.
So they took the time to perfect the songs, and what you've got for me, I'm going to give away my thoughts on the whole album. What you've got for me at that particular point in time is one of the best produced, sounding best. It's kind of a progressive fusion type thing for me. It's not, I don't think it's AOR. There's too much going on. There's jazzy bits and all that kind of stuff. It is one of the most understated, brilliantly produced pieces of music I have ever heard in my life. That's the whole album.
Wow. Okay. I mean, the other thing that I wanted to add to what you've just said there is that he discovered Kevin Gilbert because he was a judge on Yamaha talent show, wasn't he? And Kevin was singing, was there with his band Giraffe, and he kind of approached him and Guy approached it and to come on board.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where Giraffe fell away a bit, but we won't get into that right now. Let's talk about some music, shall we? Track 1, side 1, Last Plane Out. Craig.
Well, this was the lead single from the album. It's got a very kind of late 80s, early 90s vibe on the video. And I think it's a catchy enough tune, and it's got quite like a pop prog vibe to it. And I just didn't think it was as catchy enough as it should be for a lead single, considering the weight of the talent in the band. I think they could have just spent a little bit more time on this single to make it a little bit more radio friendly.
Yeah,
but I think it's good, and I put them in notes. Sodom, as in Sodom and Gomorrah. I like the tone of it, and I like the theme of it.
Okay, yeah. Mikey's got his Pet Shop Boys "Welcome to the Sodom and Gomorrah" show T-shirt on. Mikey, what do you think of this track?
I love it. I know what I said at the start of the pod, which was I'd come into this not knowing Toy Matinee at all, didn't know who it was until, the digging and delving began. But having watched the video on YouTube, I think I actually recognise it. And I certainly recognise the hook and the chorus. It's probably just been something that was on VH1 or MTV years and years ago, and it just had a memory worm thing going on. It has, to me, sort of like a Nick Kershaw kind of vibe to it. I love the start. It's absolutely bonkers. It's almost like a radio tuning into different stations. I don't know what they were trying to achieve with it. The guitar work is
like an ascending piano with an explosion at the end, isn't it?
Yeah, and then it just goes on to something else. The guitar work at the beginning is meticulous. It's beautiful, even if it does sound a bit like Camber with Green or something like that going on. But that's dingy 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 dingy.
I know what you mean. On acid, baby, yeah.
The middle eight, there's loads of drums going on in it, and any track with drums in is a win for me. I think it's really funky. There's a lot of stopping and starting of time signatures in this track, which is very odd for a single, I think. My only problem with this track is actually how it fades out on the album, and I'm assuming it does for the single as well. It's just like somebody's got the fader and just gone, zoop. It fades out within about 5 seconds. It's too fast. But I think it's a great opener. I think it's a really cool track.
Yeah. Grae?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, like the other two, I hadn't listened to this before you pointed it out. I listened to it before we decided we were doing it because you'd mentioned it, and I was like, oh my God. And so the start of the song is actually a rotor blade, as well as something else. There's a rotor blade in it that's slowed down and speeds up. The premise of the song is about the exit from Saigon. So
it's about being able to get out of some war-torn place. Isn't it?
That was the initial premise, and then they built on that. So it's kind of dark, really, against quite a light piece of music. I love the light and shade of it. The mandolin and guitar part that Tim Pierce plays, that juxtaposition of the two parts that he plays, it's so good. So that the intro bit with the run and the bits,
the Camberwick Green bit,
Camberwick Green bit on acid, the mandolin, it's so good. And there's a video where Tim Pierce talks about the best band I ever played with, and he plays parts of the songs, and he plays the two parts for this, and it's just stunning watching him doing it. It's effortless, which makes me really jealous.
Have you seen the Guy Pratt video of him
yeah, where he plays the bass with his octave pedal on? That's what I'm saying, because he does a couple of these on, doesn't it? And I love it. I think it's this one where Guy Pratt says, I'm glad you picked out the middle eight, Mikey, because I'm sure it's this one where Guy Pratt says the middle eight doesn't repeat itself. He plays a different thing for each of the 8 bars. There's no repetition throughout it. So it makes it really interesting. There's a lot going on, but none of it, and I'm going to say this all the way through probably, none of it sounds pretentious. These guys are able to do some really fucking complex stuff, and they do, but it all is done for the benefit of the song. It's all really tastefully done, so it's just such a great thing to listen. Really 80s. I mean, it is.
But
so good. The production is off the charts. And I love Guy Pratt's bass sound throughout this whole album. It's just amazing.
One thing that you saying there though, Graham, where one thing I have found with this album, and as you've just touched on it with what you said a little bit earlier there, is that the music is quite light for a lot of the subject matters in the album.
Well, I was about to say that this album really makes me smile. But the lyrics, there are some incredibly dark things on this album.
Yeah,
I played side one in the car when I was driving home from Birmingham on Saturday, and I'm doing 70, and I've got a massive smile on my face. The first 4 songs, I mean, this track in particular, I find it really uplifting and joyous. I really do. I love this record. It's I mean, but you get an insight on the lyrics on this track to how Kevin works. You know, we've got dogs and Valvoline. It's a pretty damn good time. There's a lot of this album is spoken as well as sung. There's a couple of tracks a bit later on. The verses are all spoken, and then he goes to the chorus, and then the harmonies on the choruses on this record.
But that's, I think, the bit in Wikipedia where it says a bit like the Beatles and the Beach Boys. I'm like, is it? And then I went, actually,
I would say Crosby, Stills and Nash or somebody like that.
Yeah, it's all about the harmony vocals. It's all about, and we'll talk the next 2 songs about the backing vocalists that are in there and who's playing and whatever, because it's amazing. It does. It makes you smile.
Yeah, one thing I think, and there's a couple of the songs where the harmony backing vocals remind me so much of Mr. Chuckle Trousers himself. Just don't know why. Yeah,
he's probably inspired by it. Yeah.
There's so much of this album where I was talking to John about it on Saturday, because I had to phone him and talk about, I'm going to buy Meanwhile. I think I'm going to buy Meanwhile as well. I'm going to do it's shaming of the true worth, the money for the DVD and all this kind of stuff. And it's like there's so many influences, and I was listening to it again this afternoon and writing some notes, and there's somebody. And I still can't put the right on the tip of my tongue. There is somebody that they remind me of. This album reminds me of all the time.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I can't quite pin it down. Yeah, I'm thinking, oh, this sounds a bit like this sounds a bit like Genesis. This sounds a bit like Mike.
Exactly, it's like this is like in here, or like
and especially a lot of the bass work. This is very level 42.
I know he's on it, but it sounds a little bit like "Help Yourself," Julian Lennon's album. If you've ever heard that.
Yeah. And they were
other side of town on that at the end.
Yeah.
It's a bit like that, you know.
And I think a couple of these guys actually worked with Julian as well in the studio before and after. So in fact they did. I mean, we'll come your point about the vocals and the talking and the singing. We'll come to that. I think it's 2 songs time. I'll come to it and I'll say, yeah. It's a really good point.
But I don't notice it. I only noticed it today because I was sitting making notes. I just go with it, you know. There's some of the stuff that is really clever wordplay, and there's other bits where it kind of peters out because he infers that he's swearing, but he's not swearing.
Yeah, I mean, like you talk about wordplay. If you go on to track 2, Turn It On, Salvador.
Yeah,
the Dalian spider. The lyrics are very surreal and they fit with the theme.
Well, the chorus is, didn't he say how he likes to make the holes? What?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and then at the end it goes off this funny like 1920 style jazz finish.
Yeah. Well, let's do Turn It On, Salvador, Craig. You've already started. Go for it.
It's off its baps. Yeah, no, it's an entertaining track, and I just this lot of the last podcast I've been looking quite a lot at lyrics, and I think especially that I've just said before, this album's got some really dark lyrics in it. This isn't a dark lyric. This is an interesting play on the Dali kind of themes and stuff like that. So yeah. And
it's got. The thing is, it must have had a big influence because it's Dali on the cover with the mustache.
Yeah.
Well, one line from this lyric is, "Holy rotting donkey carcass, butterfly."
There you
go. What? Mike, what do you make of it?
Can I just ask before we go any further, John? Where does the vinyl end with track numbers? Side 1
it finishes with "We Always Come Home," the track 9.
Oh, so what's the end of side 1 though? It's
end of side 1. I think it's Toy Matinee, so there's 5 tracks on side 1.
Yeah. I was going to say that the first half of the album then for me are just they're just mind blowing how different stylistically the songs are.
Yeah.
It's not like an album that I was expecting more of a theme thing going on. I was expecting a bit more prog to it, which I don't think there is at all. Yeah. So when I've been writing my notes about it, and I've had to almost sort of like say, what does this remind me of? It's a bit like what Craig said before. Who do I think this sounds like? Who do I think they were inspired by? Who have they inspired down the road, you know? And this one for me sounds a bit Tom Petty-ish. I don't know why. Maybe it was. I think I also wrote down, could it be Traveling Wilburys? Maybe that's the influence of.
I think it's that tongue-in-cheek element to it. I think that, I get that. Yeah.
I love the honky tonk piano in it. I think that's
I've got that.
Absolutely
brilliant.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I think it all goes a bit Supergrass in the middle where the da-da-das come in. And the ending with the clarinet trio, which sounds a bit like Victoria Woods as seen on TV.
Yeah.
It is absolutely bonkers, but it works. And like you said, John, earlier on, each track has made me smile. I have played this album about half a dozen times in the last 2 days. And those first, I think definitely the first 4 tracks are just so uplifting.
Yeah.
But not necessarily uplifting lyrically either, like you have said. I think it's not one of the highlights on the album for me so far. But it's definitely grown on me the more I listen to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Stonker, really good.
Brilliant. Grae?
So, this is the first one with Julian Leonard on backing vocals.
It is, yeah.
But in my notes, I wrote US art rock jazz fusion. It's the American Supertramp. So, yeah, it's really layered this. There's so much going on with between that honky-tonk piano piece, the guitar stuff, and there's a really funky guitar piece goes on every now and again.
Yeah, but it's kind of I've written it's a bit of a lolloping beat as opposed to the first track. It's it's got space and air in it.
But the instrumentation is brilliant. I have no clue what they were thinking about. I have no clue what the song's about.
Well,
the lyrics are utterly
about Salvador Dali. I mean,
yeah, exactly. The lyrics are utterly bonkers, but it is such a fun listen.
Yeah.
I
agree with everything you've said, guys. I think it's, I'd put in about the clarinet at the end. I put the wonky cowboy piano, which is what Mikey was talking about. But again, although it's a bit of a nonsensical lyric, I just think it shows Gilbert off as the talent that he was. It's just, didn't he say how I know I've said this, didn't he say how he liked to make the holes? It's the chorus. It rattles around and around. It gets stuck in your head.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. But the other thing is it's not as full a sound as Last Playing Out.
Oh.
Because the minute this runs straight into Things She Said, and the minute it does, the sound widens out and deepens out again. It's a really incredible sounding track.
So one thing I think we need to make plain is this was all recorded as a band. So they didn't do this although they are session musicians and they're used to going in one at a time, they recorded this as a band playing the five of them. And in fact, Bill Bottrell, I think, plays some stuff on it as well as engineer. Yeah. They recorded it live. So that Turn It On Salvador, it's kind of like that jazz quartet thing where it is going to be a smaller sound. It's not got the lushness and the wideness of what went before. Last Playing Out was a big sounding song, and this Things to She Said, my God. But it's a song or two halves, and we'll come with that.
Yeah. Craig, Things She Said, track 3.
Yeah, the funny thing is I would have actually thought this would have been a single, and it wasn't. It's just got that feel to it.
Yeah,
it's quite a pop track. And the funny thing is for a prog album, there's no long songs in this album.
This isn't a prog album either.
It's a prog.
It's not a prog album.
It's a pop prog album. Yeah, you're saying it's it's like you're saying it's not AOR, you know.
It's definitely not AOR.
Two of the songs on
It's
Toy
some kind of
Matinee, The
fusion.
Ballad of Johnny Ledge and Last Cleanout received wide play on AOR stations. There you
Yeah,
go.
of course it is, because there's no one else
Oh,
playing them.
tracks. Mr. Label.
Yeah, yes, it's so easy wound up.
What?
But no, I think it's a good tune. It's one of those failed romance and being left for somebody who's gone on to better things potentially, and you've been left behind song. And no, it's a good tune.
Yeah.
It's
Mikey?
good tune.
Yeah, a few things to say about this one. Almost my favorite track on the album. Almost. When
I think I know what it is, because I think you messaged me about what it is. But go
on. The start with the guitars playing, I was almost misled into thinking that Marillion's Waiting to Happen was going to kick in.
Oh, no.
For me,
I've never heard Pete play fretless bass like that.
For me, the verses are very Mike and the Mechanics.
Yeah.
I think the chorus takes the song off into a different direction. It's like a different. I wasn't expecting it to take the turn it did, and when it does, it's like almost like REM when they're doing their happier music. There's a middle section which I actually believe does sound a little bit Beach Boysy, possibly even the Monkees. It's just got a vibe to it,
Grae's wanting to jump in. What's wrong?
Is that the bit around 2 minutes 40 to about 3 minutes 20?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll talk about that in a second as well.
Okay, good. Other than that, I was listening to an alternative version on iTunes, which has got a much more atmospheric start to it. Had that been on the album instead of the version that's on the album, it could have pipped the post for my favorite track.
But also, that alternate version, the chorus is much smaller because it's more acoustic than the vibe that's on the album version.
Well, that's on the CD, and it's on the streaming.
Yeah, and it's kind of game of two halves, because I much prefer the chorus in the album version, but as you say, that beginning of the alternate version could have made it.
It's beautiful. It's absolutely wonderful. Love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Mikey, sorry, Mikey. Thanks, Mikey. Great.
So, Julian Lennon on backing vocals again.
Yeah.
And linking it back to another album we've done, Durga McBroom.
Yeah.
On backing vocals. So this was, I wonder if this was through the Pink Floyd link, because has she done?
Well, Guy missed the end of the sessions for the album because he went straight back to the Floyd tour. So
she did. So that's what. So I wonder if I'm just trying to work out where it fits, because I know Floyd was her first ever tour, and she came from her first session. So I don't know, maybe if it could have been, But I love that Mikey says that it's like a song of two halves. To me, it's like two completely different songs. It's like they've taken the verses, which were one idea, and the choruses, which were another idea, and thought, actually, do you know what? Those two will work together, even though they are diametrically opposed. It's like ridiculous, because you've got that lovely, lush acoustic guitar, fretless bass.
Well, sorry to interrupt. I think after Turn It On Salvador, the intro to this brings it right back down. Grey is not the colour I expected. Over that keyboard wash with a fretless bass.
If you could read that, it says brings it down and then lifts it back up.
It does, doesn't it? And then it sets the chorus up.
Yeah.
Off you go again.
Yeah, exactly. But the fretless bass with where he's playing his harmonics, which is a trick he does with Floyd quite a lot, where he does the what's the one that Richard Wright sings?
Oh, don't know.
The Inside Out.
Yeah, Inside Out.
Inside Out.
Division Bell.
You can tell this and that it's his guitar style for that kind of fretless, lush, soft, and playing the harmonics in between the sounds. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Total switch for the chorus, but it's just like this. It's a breath of fresh air. It's a release for the chorus, because Grae is not the color you expect and all that. The song's deceivingly complex. It sounds really simple. And picking up the middle 8 point that Mikey was saying, Tim Pierce plays a solo. So under that middle 8, if you listen, there is a guitar solo going on for about 35 seconds. It is amazing, but it's buried under the vocals and the keyboards. It's just something that's there.
You wait till you get that thing.
Oh, honestly, but it shows that it shows the quality of the production ideas and the musicianship to say, yeah, you can do a solo, but it doesn't have to be in the front. It can push, because it changes the tone of that piece of that element.
Yeah.
And the vocals with the backing vocals and the harmonies underneath it. It's brilliant. And the only other thing I've got to say, so you'll notice there's the word day store.
Yes.
So day store is their fried chicken.
Right.
So basically,
that's in the chorus, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in the yeah. So
I can't read. This is too small. This print. Hang on.
I can look it up. But yeah, so basically, when Pat Leonard is writing music, he scats lyrics over the top, and his favorite word to scat is day store. So he's like, somebody have a day store, and then Kevin Gilbert said, "I will get day store into one of the songs." So
the chorus is things she said, every other day store promise, things she said would leave me wanting, run to her and then run from other things she said.
Yeah.
That's where the day store.
Yeah, so that day store is an in joke. It was something that Pat Leonard reuses as a stopgap when he hasn't got any lyrics. So he said he would fit it in.
Speaking of the lyrics in the song, I did actually jot down one of my favourites from this album, and it's on this song, which says, but notes that might remind her what that smile was for are scribbled on a long forgotten page. There's some bloody wonderful lyrics in this album. And that's one of the ones I wanted to highlight.
Brilliant. Okay. I think you've said everything I wanted to say, guys. But that's okay.
Can I just, John, so the lyrics in this were kind of part Pat, part Kevin, weren't they?
Not sure about that. I think it's more Kevin than anything else.
So I know one of them was solely Pat, but we'll get to that at the end.
What would that be? The title track?
No.
The last track?
Yeah, because it's a soul Pat Leonard composition.
Is it? Well, yeah. That would make sense because I was really paying attention to the lyrics this afternoon. Yes, it is. Yeah. And the juxtaposition in the lyric between "There was a little boy" to "We always come home" is the complete 180.
Oh, completely opposite. Yeah.
That really does make sense now. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on to track 4 then. Remember My Name. Craig?
This is the second track that's Dali based.
Well, it's not.
Is it not?
No, it's dedicated to is it Czech Prime Minister? Let me just check.
Okay.
It's dedicated to Václav Havel.
No. That well known,
who was the president of Czechoslovakia from 1989 to 1992.
There you go.
I don't have that knowledge. That's Wikipedia, folks.
It's not. It's not all sex and drugs and rock and roll.
It's not, is it? No.
Yeah, I think the vocal. The notes I put on this is the verse vocals on this remind me a lot of Paul Carrack.
Okay.
Just in the verse, not in the chorus, but just in the verse, and it's just a very level 42 sounding track to me.
It's got some pace to it, hasn't it?
And it's Guy Pratt. It's Guy Pratt's bass. It's just he seems to be just vibing a bit of knocking there, but there you go.
Mikey,
it is a very bass-driven track, isn't it?
Yeah.
I got Tears for Fears for this one. Very Tears for Fears vibes, and also it was kind of reminiscent of Bryan Adams's "Can't Stop This Thing We Started" for me as well. And I do not mean that in a derogative way in the slightest. I think this track is absolutely wonderful. Again, there's like a top 3 juxtaposition of tracks going on for my favorite, and this is keep vying for top spot. It's just a highlight, and again, it's another one that just made me smile from start to finish. I think it's a very uplifting, driving, wonderful piece of work, and it's another one that I've got the lyrics it stuck in my head. It was bury our centuries wasted regrets and remember this rain. Waking from the weary gloom, the din of empty rooms, I find a poem poorly rhymed, and waiting for the walls to fall, I'm stunned by the failure of it all. There's just some. I mean, it's poetry.
But he's got that
wonderful.
motif. He uses that motif in the first verse. It's I find a coat that's poorly lined, and then you've got a poem poorly rhymed,
a joke that's poorly timed,
a joke that's poorly timed. You know, it's that motif he's got. Really clever,
so clever.
Brilliant. Grae?
I love it. I think I put Tears for Fears meets Simple Minds meets some 80s synth pop. I don't know who. And the Simple Minds bit I get, if you listen to it, there's a delayed guitar part that goes all the way through the song. It's like that kind of Charlie Burchill type spacious guitar. The Tears for Fears thing, I can get where the Club 42. I can get where the Level 42 stuff comes from, but I think for me it's more the Tears for Fears driven pop song vibe. This song for me picks up on what John was saying about the lyrical delivery, the phrasing, the delivery, the way he does it, the melody. It is perfection, because he'll drop halfway through a line. Some things are never the way they seem. The way he breaks it, his phrasing. As somebody who has written lyrics and performed, it's amazing how difficult it is to get phrasing of something to fit into a song but to sound natural. And this guy, it's just unbelievable. I didn't read the bit about the song being dedicated to a Czechoslovakian president. I can get it, I suppose. At that time, 89 to 92, sort of glasnost, fall of the wall, fall of the Soviet bloc and all that kind of stuff. But in my head, it was a kind of, I'm doing what I want to do. I've achieved something. The people who said I wouldn't aren't going to take it away from me. What I took personally from it.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was still continuing to link with the Dali thing with the that's why I took it. That's well, I was completely wrong.
I mean, the last two lines of the lyrics are, "I'm waiting for the walls to fall. I'm stunned by the failure of it all."
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Brilliant song.
Yeah, and I mean, there is a DTS. Before we've recorded, we've talked about some of the formats. There is a DTS audio, which I'm lucky enough to have, and this track in particular on the surround has the drums isolated in the center speaker, and then you've got Guy Pratt off on one of the corner speakers, so you can really hear the rhythm section incredibly clearly. It just drives this song along. It's just brilliant. Really good. Anyway, the mood changes slightly with the title track, doesn't it, Craig? Track 5 is the Toy Matinee.
This is where I really like this track. And you can't say this one's not fun because it bloody is.
I don't know what.
The thing is, I mean, I love the guitar work on this. It's very Gilmour, with a bit of a hint of Mark Knopfler in there. No, I think it's really good. It doesn't build as I was expecting a kind of title track like this to do. It's very subtle,
but everything prior to this has been in your face, 100 degree, 100%, hasn't it?
Yeah. It doesn't soar. It's more wistful. It's more,
definitely.
Yeah. Not bad. It's definitely one of my favorite tracks on the album.
Yeah, cool.
But I love the guitar on it.
All right.
And I must say, throughout this album, I love the fact that it's not particularly a lot of keyboards. There's a lot of real pianos in this album.
Yeah, there is.
And that's one thing I do like throughout it.
Yeah. Mikey?
Pretty much the same as Craig. I think it's quite heavily on the Floyd influence. And I actually also jotted down Knopfler as well. It's beautiful guitar work on this track, absolutely stunning. But what I do love is the drums again. They've almost got a tribal sound to them. I don't know what sort of drums he's playing.
It sounds like he's playing them with like timpani. What do you play timpani with? You know, like almost playing.
They've got a very deep and
what is it? What am I talking about? What's the like a
mallet?
beat? Pardon?
A mallet.
Is it? I'm talking about like a
the soft-headed beater for the timpani.
Yeah. So I think the drums sound absolutely wonderful. The last 2 minutes of the track, it's just a lush, atmospheric exit. I can see why it was on side one of a vinyl album. It's a perfect ending to it, and I love the overdubs of the clicking noises at the start and the end of the track. I couldn't quite decide whether it was wind up toys or whether it's the film running through a film reel.
I think it's toys.
I think it's toys.
Yeah. But I can see what you mean. Yeah.
But it's a very detailed, understated but lush sounding track. I think it's beautiful. It's really good.
Yeah. Grae?
So it's the obligatory ballad that everybody had to have on an album.
Well, there's 2 on here.
Yeah, I know, but it's also exquisitely tasteful. The way it's done is just. I'm going back to the lyrical point that you made again. I've got the notes down here that he almost sounds here as if it's a kind of musical theatre delivery, playing a character. No, right. So I'm not talking about like I'm not talking about throwing your voice across the stage and all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about telling a story and playing a character. And if you think things like modern stuff like 5 Years Later, Rent, some of the modern American musicals, not stuff that you would know as I'm not talking about like Singing in the Rain and shit and like sort of Three Coins in a Fountain and all that kind of stuff. I'm talking modern music, because a lot of it has music like this in it.
Thankfully, I don't get that because I really don't like musical theatre.
It is amazing, and like Craig says, I love the guitar, but obviously Tim Pierce is one of my favorite guitarists.
Yeah.
The guy is just he is. Where Rothers and Dave Gilmour have a sort of softness of touch and that tone and that feel, Tim Pierce is able to do little really amazing flourishes without making them sound like he's trying to be flash. He just plays and does stuff, and you don't realize he's done it until you actually really pay attention. You go, holy, how did he do that?
I think a lot of this track is that, though, isn't it? Not just the guitar, the keys and everything.
Keyboards, it's all like that.
All just washes over you.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And I mean, the lyrics.
Oh well, I want to. There's a verse, a verse I want to read out because I think it's.
Well, I'll let you. I
think it's really pertinent to right now. The shepherd of pettiness winks. The audience loves what he thinks. Peanuts for all in the house. We're so easy to please.
That's the one I was going to read, so I'm glad I let you do it. Yeah. Please from the crowd to go on, waltzing away a mindless array instead.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
It's fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. Let's turn the record over. Side 2, track 1. I'm going to come to Mikey first for Queen of Misery.
My favourite track on the album.
That's why I'm coming to Mikey.
It starts off Phil Collins era Genesis and then goes into the 1975, or rather the 1975 go into Toy Matinee. I just think it's a funky, fun, uplifting, and quite funny track. The keyboard work in the middle of this song is just all over the place and wonderful. Yeah. You've got guitars filling the gaps behind the keyboards. It's I can't put into words. It's just you've got to listen to it. It's just such a I don't know. It's very of its time. I will say that. But it grabbed me the first time I heard it.
You know what it's about, don't you?
Yeah, I was going to say, you do know who it's about, don't you?
Allegedly, it's Madonna, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it for what it is, but putting that juxtaposition to one side, I think musically, it's one of the highlights on the album for me.
Okay, cool. Craig?
Yeah, it's very bass-led. And I think it's a top tune. But they say we're having a dig at Madonna, but it's like the song, if you look at it, the song's about somebody trying to find love in all the wrong places.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Through one night stands and all the rest of it. So let's now write a song for our boss calling her a slag.
So I don't think it is.
I think if go to the last verse,
exactly,
that turns it on its head, doesn't
it?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Because if you hear any of them talk about the experiences they had working with her and how professional and how good she was and the way she worked, that's not how they felt. Yes. I think it may have been how they saw her act at times and how she may have been perceived.
How she was superficially in the eyes of the press. In the eyes of the image that she had projected, as especially at the time, and in the time of the late 80s and into the early 90s, she was pretty much the world's #1 sex symbol as a recording artist.
So there's a quote from Pat Leonard. So Pat Leonard's first gig was keyboard player for the Jacksons on the Victory Tour. And he got asked from there to go and work for Madonna, and his response was, "That girl in the underwear, no chance." He said he wouldn't do it, and then she said, "No, I don't want. I'm not taking no for an answer." And then that relationship really went on and went on for quite a bit, and he came back. But they hold her in higher regard as a professional.
Of course they do. Who doesn't really in the industry, really?
Well, she's the reason the album got made, isn't she?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because of all the money they made.
Yeah.
Off the back of her. Yeah.
Grae?
I love it. So I think this for me, it's weird. This for me is kind of it's the pop song of the album, kind of. I really like it. I love the lyric. I knew I'd watched the video before I got to this part of the song, so I knew some of the history about the people in the band. What I will say though is, for those of you who do listen to the album, listen for the shaker in the song, or the egg, because when you hear it, you'll want to kill me, because it's incessant all the way through. Once you notice it, you go like,
if you spoil this track for me now.
It's brilliant though. It so is, and I can't say anything more about the musicianship that other people have said already.
Yeah, I mean, as you've all said, the staccato keys and the walking bass at the beginning, but the drum sound on this is just so bloody crisp, and it's brilliant. It's so good. But yeah, I mean, we talked about it being about Madonna, but she did have a bad. She didn't have a great relationship with her father, did she?
No.
So that would this last verse would tie that back. Bouncing on my knee, the innocent so quickly killed, a father's love left unfulfilled. How could I have known I wouldn't have left my princess all alone? That would kind of tie back to that one.
It would, yeah.
But yeah, Can
I just you've mentioned the drum sound on a couple of occasions, and everybody's talked about the sounds of the things. I think one of the unsung heroes on this album is Bill Bottrell, or Bill Bottrell, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, both Kevin Gilbert and Pat Leonard are producers as well.
Yeah.
And Bill Bottrell's he's been quoted as like having to slap their hands. So no, not your choice, not your decision. You're a musician this time. Do as you're told. This is what we're going. But what he's produced is stunning. It really is. There's very few albums I would hold up against it for production.
Production is stunning on this album.
Yeah, I was.
You see, the guys knew exactly what they're doing. They had essentially an unlimited budget, but the guys, producer-wise, the top of the league.
But they did it in 3 months for like 50 grand rather than 12 months for $1 million.
Yeah, because they weren't charging their own full rates for it, were they? Because they were a band.
Yeah, they weren't charging session rates.
Yeah, they weren't getting charged session rates, so it makes it cheaper.
Cool. All right, so track 2 on side 2 is The Ballad of Jenny Ledge. Craig.
This was the second single. No, I think it's odd that this is odd that that this was a single, because it doesn't really seem quite single-like. But upon research, a lot of people saying that was a single because it had quite a Steely Dan theme. Don't know a lot about Steely Dan myself, so I couldn't really comment. But again, it's one of those upbeat tunes with a miserable lyric. Basically about somebody who's left you for a better or a perceived better person.
I believe it's based on truth.
Yeah.
I think somebody left Kevin for an Elvis impersonator. If I'm wrong, please tell me. Yeah.
Yeah. But I know this. Is it actually singing about that and the story of that? Is it actually after she's died or after something's happened to her? Is that am I getting that from the story where?
I don't think she's died.
Or is it? I just don't know whether it's a. Whether
I think it's sort of saying to try and sum it up. I think it's sort of saying you had the world at your feet and you chose this loser, and now
your world's got to shit.
You don't have that.
Yeah, I just didn't know whether it was a case of her world's gone to shit or she's passed away. I didn't quite know which direction it was happening, because it's one of those like fairly miserable lyrics.
Well, it finishes. The lyrics at the end are once she stood with the world at her feet and the love of an honest man, i.e. Kevin.
Yeah.
Now she sleeps while the world marches by in the care of an also ran.
So yeah.
Elvis impersonator.
Yeah.
Nothing against Elvis listeners. Sorry about that.
But again, like the last playing out, these were fairly successful singles. I mean, top 30 wise, in chart wise. So, whereas the album didn't touch the top 100 pretty much. But I think they did a lot of their own PR, didn't they? They did a lot of their own going around radio stations.
They didn't do any.
Kevin Gilbert didn't do
any PR. We'll come on to that at the end because there was a big falling out. They didn't do any, but we'll explain why.
Okay.
Mikey, Ballad of Jenny Ledge.
This to me sounds a bit like a Squeeze song or a 10cc song, in that you're getting a very story-driven song. I like the fact that you think there's a natural end to the song and then it kicks back in for another minute and a half at the end.
Yeah,
I think that's very clever. I actually think it was probably picked as a single because it's quite American sounding and quite middle American sounding. It's got that sort of like Kentucky vibe to it. And what I think's really, really clever is the use of the Elvis lyrics and the outro to the song.
Yeah.
You've got lines from like I'm ever so lonely and love me tender.
Don't be cruel.
It is so clever. Not one of the highlights on the album for me, but it's still a very, very, very clever song. I will say that.
Grae?
Lyrically, it's one of my highlights of the album. I think it's brilliant. But I love story lyrics, and we've established that before. I love that kind of stuff, and I love the delivery. And it's things like, it's just a slave to security. She has forgotten the urge to win. All she has is a king and a pear and a tear for what might have been.
Yeah.
It's really so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost a kind of, it strikes me as half an angry song because you didn't get what you wanted. So he wanted her and she went elsewhere, but also half a sorrow song because he's watching her not achieve what she could have done, and he's feeling not pity, but
get used to lyrics like this, mate. This is full of them.
Yeah. Oh, I listened to Thud the other day.
Yeah.
I listened to it online. Yeah. So
E for one.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. Yeah. He was a
troubled soul. He was a
lost
very
soul,
troubled soul. Yeah. It's as you've everything you guys have said again. What else have I got on mine? Bottrell's keys and those backing vocals again. Wow. And I just think I know I've already read it, but half Elvis, half man about town. What a lyric that line. Such a put down, isn't it? And then as Mikey said, the sort of reprise and the Elvis lyrics at the end, really clever. Really, really clever. Okay, next track is There Was a Little Boy. Craig.
The lyric on this is flipping heartbreaking.
It is, yeah.
It's it's one of those typical. It's almost like a very American trailer park, trailer trash kind of song where dad's left. He's stuck with a stepfather who's more interested in his younger sister, and also he's having issues with his own sexuality, and it's a very atmospheric song. It's a great story song. I think the demo version of it, that's one of the bonus tracks, is a really interesting version of it as well. It's a little bit more level 42 bassy on that version of it. But no, I think it's to me it's one of the standout songs on the album.
Okay.
And it gets you in the feels, definitely.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah. Mikey?
I think this sounds almost quite Gabriel. Its vocal delivery in the choruses, when you get that angst coming through, is just wonderful. My complaint about the song is that it's not long enough. I think it could have gone on a lot longer than what it did. The ending of it with that beautiful piano work, I thought was almost Marillion-esque as well. I just think this has got so much going for it. And again, I totally agree with Craig. The lyrics are heartbreaking. And I've got one of them written down here, which was, how can you expect a child to understand the sickness of a world whose eyes are blind? Again, it's just sheer poetry. Another wonderful track. Hats off.
Okay. Grae?
So I believe, or I get the impression that this is biographical, if not autobiographical.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. Which makes it all the more heartbreaking. I mean, the lyrics are just phenomenal. To me, the song's almost like a musical overture. The way it's done, it's like there's so much to it. It's so grand, and it could go on longer. It really could. I couldn't tire of that song. The vocal delivery is superb, especially in the choruses. If you look at the last one, where he's got that no choice, no fault, and no way out, no blame, no guilt, no fill, no cure, no crime.
Yeah.
The delivery of that line is just amazing. The way that it's the timing that he does it, and the way that he makes. I'll go back to the point about trying to make lyrics sound natural. That's not something you would say, but the way he delivers it, it comes across perfectly.
He sounds angry, doesn't it? It's a real anger to it. It's in the chorus.
And I think it's matched as well. If you listen to I think it's the keyboard and the guitar. They go and they play they play out of note keys.
It's atonal.
Atonal. Yeah. So it's like at the end of each line, and it's like, oh god, and you can feel the pain that the music's meant to be written about.
Yeah.
So I put down amazing lyrical delivery, fantastic chorus, uncomfortable instrumentation, the way you have to that kind of and then the instrumental outro is just gorgeous.
Yeah. I got a bit Hornsby from the instrumental outro.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite songs on the album, I think.
I do like this. It's not one of my favorite songs on the album. But I think, as you said, the lyrics are incredible. He needs a father, but she takes a lover. This man is a friend, he shows no friendship. This man just waits around to play with sister, but he plays too serious, he plays too rough.
It's a terrifying lyric, really. When you pay attention to it and you read it through, it's like, holy shit.
And I think it was Craig talked about him questioning his sexuality as well. He leaves home early for a loveless world, and he finds what he needs with an older boy. He's got a couple of things to hide from mother. He hopes she'll understand. She hopes he'll change.
Yeah. I know. It's yeah.
Wow. I mean, on a record this good, to not be my favourite is not a crime. It's still a great track. I'd never noticed this next track is a Pat Leonard solo credit, Grae. So thanks for pointing that out. But
can I tell the story?
last track on the record, We Always Come Home.
Yeah. So Pat Leonard's dad was a jazz musician, and a very good jazz musician, and he played regularly, and he played 2 sets a night. But Pat Leonard had been getting keyboard lessons since he was 5. Apparently, the guy's a prodigy. It was just unbelievable. When he was 9 years old, the guy who played the keyboards in the jazz band his dad played in couldn't make the first set of the night because he worked and he had to get the train over to the island to get to the sets. So Pat Leonard, at 9 years old, played keys in a jazz band with his dad, and then the guy came in and played the second set. And that's how he got into music. And by 11, he was playing in standards bands and all this kind of stuff. But he was asked, his dad was a very, very good musician and could have been a professional, could have made his career as music. However, his mum wasn't well, or his mum had died. I'm not sure which one of the two it was. And his dad always had to come home and look after the family and be at home. So wherever he went away from music, it always came home at night. And that's what the song's about. We always come home. And the reason the story came up was I watched a Pat Leonard interview, and he just moved back to the place where he grew up with his dad, and he's within a stone's throw of the place where he played with his dad, and within a stone's throw of all this kind of stuff. And the song was all about that experience of we always come home.
Brilliant.
Yeah. That makes sense. That because what I was looking, because the one thing that I took from this is it's another story song.
Yeah.
But it doesn't match with the song previously.
It's a different family, isn't it? Yeah.
It's a different family.
Yeah,
it's a different life. It's a whole different thing. So yeah, I mean, what I've put on my notes is it's about emotional space, not necessarily physical space, and where you're always going to find your place and you're always going to find your home. And yeah, but I get that. Yeah, it makes all makes sense with that. What Grae said.
Yeah, Mikey.
I don't think it's my favorite track on the album. In fact, I think these last 2 songs are probably a bit of a low point for me. But like you said, John, on an album this good, to have your least favourites are still bloody good songs. There's no detracting from that. I think it's needed after Little Boy, to be completely honest with you. I think you need that breather, because it's quite an exhausting song to get through, lyrically anyway, the sentiment behind it. I like the chanting of the repetitiveness of the always come home. I can almost imagine them all just sat in the studio just playing live. It sounds like they're all in the same room. It's a much needed track. There is another track that I wish had ended the album, in all fairness.
Which is?
One that's not on the album.
Well, yes, Blank Page.
Blank Page.
Blank Page. Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
But anyway, I think this is another one that's just it just fades out too quickly. I don't know who was in charge of the fader button, but they should have had their fingers slapped. It needed the fade out, but it's too rapid. It started and then the track's finished. But again, that's just a nitpicky gripe. I think it's a wonderful end.
Okay.
Natural end of the album.
Yeah. Grae, what about the song then? You give us a story behind it.
I love it. It's that so you can tell it's a Pat Leonard solo, right? Because it's not got the level of instrumentation and the complexity of the other stuff where you've got Guy Pratt and Kevin Gilbert or Tim Pierce doing the instrumentation stuff. It's a very I've put down low-key anthemic closer, because it's the kind of song you can imagine. You've played your set, you've done all that kind of stuff you've played all the big songs, you come back for your encore, you play a massive hit, and then you start playing this and you walk off as the crowd are all screaming, "We always come home," as you walk away. It is that kind of thing. So it's a good song to close the album on.
Yeah.
There are other songs that could have been on the album, but
we'll talk about them in a minute. Yeah.
I love it, but it's nothing like anything else on the album.
No, it's not. It's not.
And perhaps that's one of the reasons why it sticks out for me. Why it's like, oh, that's different.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Mikey. The album tails off a little bit at the end, but that feels really churlish to say because it's bloody amazing. Yeah, now I know it's a Leonard Wright. That makes a Pat Leonard Wright. That makes more sense. The lyrics are more straightforward as well, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely.
And that's cool. That's cool. I mean, the musicianship and Kevin Gilbert are what I love this record for. But as you says, Grae and you guys as well, it's a great sort of way to end the album and bring you back down to something nice and warm and cozy and happy. But listening to this record does make me really happy. I come back to it time and again. I only got to it through my love of Spock's Beard and Nick DiVigilio, which took me to Shaming of the True, which is a Kevin solo album, which led me to Toy Matinee and Kevin's other stuff.
Oh, I was going to say, talking about Kevin's other stuff, Giraffe.
Yes.
Mikey mentioned the sort of tribal drums and stuff. That's something that Kevin may have brought from Giraffe, because Giraffe had a load of like that kind of percussion. They played a lot,
some of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, some of the sounds on here, Queen of Misery, there's a Giraffe track called This Warm Night. They've all got that sort of a vibe to them, you know. He was an absolute genius for me. Have I said when it came out? Did we talk about that?
No.
It came out in 1990.
Yeah, but apologies, I didn't read it. Was that in the first thing I said? 28th of June 1990. So it did come out on CD and on vinyl at the time. By all accounts, it went straight into American sale bins. You know, you could get there's hundreds of cutouts of this album.
Yeah.
I have to be honest, my DVD copy is a drill out.
Oh, so it is.
Yeah, but that's cool. That's cool. I'd rather have it like that than not have it at all.
Yeah.
But it was reissued with some bonus tracks, which I know Mikey's dying to talk about.
Wait for you to say how old was I when it came out as well.
Oh, sorry. How old were you, Craig, when it came out? He just worked it out in his head.
I'm trying to figure it out now. 1990.
Okay.
I was 17.
Oh my god. Yeah, it was reissued in 2001 as a special edition with some bonus tracks. One of which is a backwards part of the title track, which I'm not even going to pretend to pronounce.
Which is only like a 30-second piece.
Written
30 seconds.
Yeah,
it's about 30 seconds.
But then there's a Kevin Gilbert solo, right? Blank Page, which Mikey was talking about. You got any notes?
Yeah, I think it's I just think it's an absolutely another wonderful piece of poetry. For somebody who's, I'm guessing it's a song mostly about writer's block and having troubles expressing yourself, and the words of the song are the complete opposite to what he's actually trying to say. You've got lines. Well, if I'm saying a line, it's nearly a paragraph. He writes, "Well, something snaps and then you learn. Chasing words is no concern. Then one by one they die and turn to mild regret and hopeless yearn." Mind-blowing stuff, and it's just so beautifully underpaid, gorgeous piano work, and I just think it would have just been a perfect end to the album. I really do.
Grae?
There's another verse in it, which is, I mean, it's a poem. But let's be honest, it's not a song. It is a poem that has been put to music. It is just glorious. It's reach within to find a misplaced bit of truth in love or hate, or age or youth, in what price peace of mind. It is just stunning. But
it's all done to a piano, but a basic piano backing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know?
And I think it is, Mikey. I think it is that word about trying to express yourself, trying to get your lyrics out, trying to do that. For me, it rings so close. It's like, it's lovely. And it just shows how good a lyricist the guy is.
I am listening. I'm trying to see if it's on one of these. That's all.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Can I just go back to something that you said about the last track on the album, Graham? You know, when you said it doesn't sound like anything else on the album.
Yeah.
I don't think anything on the album sounds like anything else on the album, and I think that's why I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah, okay, good point.
I was expecting the mood to continue from track one all the way through, and it just doesn't. It's so eclectic, but it works, you know. Wonderful, wonderful piece of musicianship all the way through from everybody.
Well, like I say, I mean, my final notes for it were like, I don't think I can express to people the level of musicianship and the nuance of things that they do on this album. I have immersed myself in this since John first mentioned it, and as you all know, I have gone down several rabbit holes and probably found a couple of Welsh mines on the way and kept on going. It is phenomenal. And Kevin Gilbert's world, if anybody doesn't know it, there's so much to find, so much to see, so much to hear. But the people these musicians have played with, they were all session musicians, and who they went on to play with after this, it's just phenomenal. So,
well, sorry to interrupt. Do we just talk about what happened after the album came out then? Because
yes,
Pat Leonard was signed up to go and work with Grumpy Roger Waters
for Amused to Death.
Yeah. Guy Pratt went straight out on tour. The other session guys had sessions booked to go to, and there was only Kevin who didn't have anything lined up. And he got frustrated that there was no promo for the album and it wasn't doing anything. So he put a band together to go out and play live. He managed to convince the record company to put a little bit of money behind him. And the band was Kevin, Mark Bonilla on guitars, Tos Panos on drums, Spencer Campbell on bass, Sheryl Crow on keyboards and backing vocals.
Never heard of her.
And Tim Pearce guests on the track as well on this live album. Now, the only reason that Sheryl Crow got the gig is she was the only person that could play the keyboards on Queen of Misery.
Yep.
It's the only one that he found could play the keyboard solo. And there is, I'm sure you guys have seen it, there is some footage from this gig. So this gig was released on CD. This is Kevin Gilbert performs Toy Matinee live at the Roxy on the 1st of May 1991.
Yeah, there's video footage of it on YouTube.
Being a bit picky, the video footage is actually from the Cactus. So the audio from the Roxy.
Yeah, it doesn't match.
To the Cactus.
It doesn't match it. Yeah.
But it's worth it to see the band. I mean, Sheryl Crow on keyboards, the Far Side.
The Far Side, you like just that, yeah. So, I mean, obviously Kevin Gilbert started going out with Sheryl Crow at this point. Yeah. Bill Bottrell, the producer of this album, had his own studio, had a number of guys that came around on a Tuesday night, invited Kevin Gilbert, Brian MacLeod, and Sheryl Crow to come round, and they formed what was the Tuesday Night Music Club, which ended up with Sheryl Crow's debut album. Yeah. And that became really contentious as well, and that's where a lot of the problems came from.
Well, I did, because I don't think I might be misremembering this, but I think originally the writing credits weren't correct on the album.
Not at all.
That was what the beef was about. They didn't get credited for some of the stuff they'd done.
Yeah.
That was rectified in later versions, I think.
Yeah, because I think Gilbert's got credits for All I Want to Do, Leaving Las Vegas, and something else. But yeah. So, but they tried to recapture it. But this album is, I think this album is like of its time. That it was a point where, if you think about it, 5 of the 6 people involved had been working together with some fantastic pop production stuff at the time. They came into that with freedom to do what they wanted, but they had the pop sensibilities and the prog chops and the fusion chops and all that kind of stuff, and the experience of everything else they'd done. I mean, Pat Leonard was the keyboard player for Michael Jackson, for God's sake.
He was, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tim Pierce had played with God knows how many people by 1990, and then went on to play with so many more. Brian MacLeod he'd done some amazing sessions as well. So it's really weird because I don't expect supergroups to produce something like this. I'm generally disappointed by what comes out of a supergroup. I hated the Producers album. You know,
Whoa.
On First List.
Talk offline about that. What? Freeway? Can't listen to Freeway with your head still attached. Anyway, sorry.
But this is just so much more than the sum of its parts, and the sum of it and its parts are fucking massive.
Yeah, I think. I mean, Craig, Mikey, general thumbs up for this album. Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's. I was gobsmacked and awestruck. I think I was. I don't know what I was expecting, John. When you recommended it, I thought, go in.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it'll be. I don't know. Well, I don't know what I was expecting.
Widdly.
I think the fact that you'd mentioned it off the back of our New Gold Dream recording that we made, I thought, I can kind of. Yeah, and you said something. You said, "Oh yeah, it's very 80s," and I thought, "Oh well, I'm gonna." But I was expecting something more American.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of tracks on here that are quite obviously American, but I don't think the album's necessarily American sounding. And maybe that was one of the reasons why it failed in the charts, on top of the fact it got no promotion. But yeah, genius for me. Genius all the way. I think it's an amazing album.
Well, there is as you guys have discovered just by digging around on YouTube, there is an album by a band called Third Matinee, called Meanwhile, which is Pat Leonard and Richard Page from Mr. Mister. So by all accounts, because Kevin died in 96, was it?
96, yeah.
Yeah. So before Kevin died, Pat had apparently approached him about doing a second album for Toy Matinee. And obviously that couldn't happen. So he got together with Richard Page. It's a very different sounding record. It's not a patch on what we've just talked about, I don't think, but there's some good stuff on it.
She Dreams, I think, is a beautiful track. And I think if you just want to get a taste of the album, go for that track. I do agree with you. I don't think it's a patch on Toy. And I think it's quite samey throughout. I don't think it's got that eclecticism that Toy Matinee does. Not a bad album, but it just didn't grab me in the same way. Nowhere near.
Yeah.
I think it shows the influence and the impact that Kevin Gilbert had on that first album.
Yeah, because the lineup, some of the lineup is the same, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's got some of the tracks are a collaboration on the Third Matinee album, a collaboration with Nick Laird-Clowes of Dream Academy as well. But it's worth digging out to have a listen to. But we massively recommend Toy Matinee. If you're interested, Pete, try Third Matinee. There is other stuff, other directions to go. There's a Kevin Gilbert plays Toy Matinee live, which we've alluded to. You can find that on YouTube, so you can watch the video on there and the audio's from a different gig. There is an album of Kevin's that was finished and released in his lifetime called Thud, which again we've talked about, which is another great record. It doesn't sound like this, but it's good. It's really good. I'm not sure if this is available. You say you bought a copy of this, Grae?
Yes, Cogs. All
right, okay. So the best thing to do would be to go to kevingilbert.com.
Yeah.
It lists his discography there. But I personally recommend Thud as well. But the album that I recommend more than Thud is an album that was completed after his death, which he'd done a lot of work on. And it's called The Shaming of the True. And this was finished by Nick DiVirgilio. But Kevin had done 85% of the work on it before he passed. And this is an incredible record about the music business. It's not one to play while the kids are around. Can't have it on with the kids listening in the background. There's some questionable lyrics on here, but it's fantastic.
And unfortunately, say that album and the Toy Matinee live album, they're not on the likes of on Amazon on streaming or anything.
You can find Thud.
Thud's there. Yeah,
you can find No Reason Given, NRG.
Yeah.
And you can find Giraffe.
The Giraffe on there. Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool. I mean, I understand that Shame of the True is going to get a reissue, and if it does, snap it.
Then it'll end up going on streaming. Then, yeah.
So what I am going to say, if anybody does like this stuff, if they're aware of a band called the Deer Hunter, anything they release it once, and then it sort of goes 1,000% in value within 6 months because they never release it again. It looks like that's what's happened with all the Kevin Gilbert stuff, because I've been looking for some of it, and it is just ridiculous money. But I want that Shaming of the True.
Yeah, well, it's good when you get it. You'll know what I mean. But but Toy Matinee, folks, please give it a listen. Please comment in our Facebook group and let us know what you think about it. We're all gushing about it, but you might not like it. That's cool. Come on and say that. Say what you think. Thank you for all the suggestions for albums to look at. We've probably got about 15 years worth of suggestions there. So we will slowly work our way through that. And, if you'd like to come on and talk about an album, please put that in your message as well, because there's albums, we've learned from this. We're listening to albums. Sometimes we're listening to albums that we don't know and we're really getting into. But we want people to come on and talk about the background to an album. So if there's something you're passionate about or that you know about. We've had suggestions of some krautrock. I don't know anything about krautrock, but we'll give that a listen. We'll give it a try. And if that's your bag, come on and talk about it. Yeah?
Yeah.
You agree, guys?
Oh, yes. Yeah, definitely.
Totally Super Womble by Mike Batt and the Wombles. That's what we're doing.
Yeah,
it's a plug album.
A bonus content. But anyway, thank you for listening to our ramblings. We've talked about Toy Matinee. What a great record we think that is. All that remains to be said is thank you to Graham Tennick.
Thank you very much again.
Thank you. Thank you, Mikey K.
Thanks again, John, and thanks for introducing me to another wonderful album.
No problem, mate. And thank you, Craig.
Thank you very much.
We'll be back in 2 weeks with another album. We don't know what it is right now, but we will.
Maybe back in 2 days. You never know.
No. All that remains to be said is good night from me.
And it's good night from him.
Take care.
Stay alive.
Hey!
Thanks for listening
to Planet Music from the makers of Planet Marzipan.
If you like what you've heard, please like and subscribe, and maybe even join our Facebook discussion group.
You can contact us at planetmarzipanpodcast@gmail.com.